Hey guys, welcome to Massive Iron Live. Welcome to Friday. How you guys doing? I got a new camera set up. Let me know what you think. When I look at it, my lips are off from the sound. So let me know if that's the same for you guys. I'm still trying to get all this tech stuff figured out. So anyway, hope you guys are doing okay. Massive Iron Live. We are going to go through all your questions. So let me know if you're new here. Post up your questions. Don't be shy, here to help. And if this camera situation doesn't work, if my lips are off from the sound, I'll just go back to the old Genki camera. Skinot said, Steve, the new camera is too high quality. Yeah, I'm a little too realistic for myself. You know what I'm saying? I prefer to be a creature of the dark. For those of you guys new here, I'm here every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern, the longest running lifting podcast thing in the history of the world. And if I don't show up one Friday, you'll know I'm dead, right? So anyway, before we get started, a few housekeeping things. If you are late, please head over to Instagram. You need a question answered. Head over to Instagram, @the barman, slide into my DM. And I'd be glad to help you out. And if you need coaching, you can head over to my website, superlivingtoday.com. Where is it? Right up there, superlivingtoday.com. There's a coaching tab if you're interested. Check that out if you need help. You need, if you're frustrated with your results, whatever. And we got Team Massive Iron. Come join that. We'd love to have you. And what else? Workouts. If you need a workout, there's tons of workouts at my website, superlivingtoday.com. So, all right, enough of the commercials. Let's get into Friday. Just a reminder, one person from every week that posts before live starts gets a chance to win. Gets a chance to win a free thing, like a free shirt, hoodie, whey, creatine, whatever. I'm hoping this new camera battery setup goes fine. This is a Canon EOS M50. I've had it for a while. Finally got it set up. Let's hope it goes okay. All right, enough of the camera crap. Let's get into things. Rico, good morning. Rico, how's it going? And again, if you guys are new here, don't hesitate to post up a question. I'm here to help. Doesn't matter if you think we've answered it 1,000 times before. Dumbbells and Donuts, happy Freitag. Massive Mooses, what's going on? Big Drew. Morning. I don't recall you ever talking about butt wink. Is it a thing like open your knees, or is it more to it than that? Butt wink usually occurs, like you rarely ever see it on someone that has a moderately high squat, right? And when I say high, right about the parallel. Usually butt wink occurs when somebody's trying to go too deep on a squat. And what happens is they'll push that squat really deep. And it has to do with basically, and I'm going to dumb this down a little bit, about the length of your hamstrings. You try to push it too deep, that hamstring doesn't get any more stretch anymore. And it's going to start to curve under. You're going to lose upper back, or you're going to lose lower back tightness. This is not a good thing. Usually it occurs with people trying to push too deep on their squats. There is kind of this weird cult of deeper is better on squats, which is not the case if you're picking up butt wink. When I say that, there's always going to be some lifters that vehemently, violently, whatever the word is, disagree, and they'll get all upset, and they will choose to remain in the cult of deep no matter what. But we want to control our squats. We want to control our squats down. We don't want to lose lower back tightness. If we're losing lower back tightness and we're getting that butt wink where our butt curls under and our lower back rounds, that's never a good thing. But it only usually happens with guys that naturally are very good at hitting depth and want to push it a little deeper, if that makes sense. Big Tim, my son, my adopted lifting son. How's it going, Tim? How much do you think strength correlates to muscle? 100%, but let me explain. Okay, because it's not just as simple as get strong, build muscle. We have to do it right. I mean, if you're training for running, you just don't, like long distance, you just don't go out and sprint, right? So number one, you can't get big without getting a lot stronger than you are now. But the disconnect here in the muscle building world is that we've taken that into basically meaning we just get stronger. And we can get stronger, but we can lose out on a lot of the quality tension, a lot of the quality stress that's involved with muscle building. We want to control the weight, right? We want to control the weight, whatever exercise we're doing, to a reasonable degree relative to that exercise. We're not just chasing 1 rep max strength. We're chasing hard sets. We're chasing quality sets. We're chasing hard work. And when you are chasing hard work, you're naturally going to increase your reps over time compared to where you were. So this is progressive overload. You're in that hard training mix. I don't go in and just try to chase, sloppy +1s on my squats. They're very controlled, very focused, stay tight. And you try to chase +1s in that hard training realm, in that control realm. So Tim said, starting to approach my peak bulk numbers on lifts at a lower body weight. Don't overthink it, right? Instead of just thinking about pure numbers, we have to always focus instead on hard training. Hard training, that has to be our focus, okay? The numbers are going to come. And if we try to think like my numbers at a lower weight are relatively the same as when they were at a higher weight, and what does this mean as far as mass? Forget all that stuff. Focus on hard training. Let that be your guide. Let that be your focus. And it's not always going to be just a correlation of I'm hitting the same numbers, but at 20 pounds lower body weight. Does that mean I have more mass? No, probably not. When I went from 346 to 246, I lost strength and then I gained my strength back. You can basically, when we build muscle, we're bolstering a muscle cell, adding extra mitochondria and whatnot. That cell is like adding an addition onto a home. It is improved. And you can lose weight, and you can lose glycogen and, have less glycogen in the muscle cells and have less energy overall and feel less stronger and maybe feel a little flat and underperform for a while. But then when your body weight neutralizes, you can see your strength start to come back a little bit. And does that mean because you're stronger pound per pound that you're going to be bigger pound per pound? Generally not. All right, Yvonne, good morning, Team Massive. TeamMassiveIron.com. Come join us. Do you ever miss the way things were in the fitness industry before the internet? It's funny. Back in the day before the internet, we really only had like Weeder magazines, and they were always pushing the Weeder supplements and random crap. And that's all you had, right? The Weeder sponsored athletes, the Weeder created workouts. Who knows if they were even accurate, for the lift or whatever. I mean, we had other things like Iron Man magazine and, other things like that. But there were few information sources and Weeder dominated. And a lot of us kind of were, over it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We were over it just a little bit. But I think, do I miss those days? There are certain aspects I miss. We had a better connection with hard training. There was less voices in the stream and less confusion. There are certain things about modern lifting, and that's why I'm here. Certain things about modern lifting that drive me nuts. For example, sometimes I go on Instagram and I see these nonsense mantras, these nonsense muscle building tips and philosophies like supersets don't work or pre-fatigue doesn't work or whatever the case is. It's no better than regular training, right? And that is so disingenuous because when you have these tools, rest pause, pre-fatigue, supersets, run the rack, And then you have these voices, these hypertrophy experts that are like, a study showed they're no better than just training straight sets. Well, you can take the same tools and you can apply them differently. And look, if you've been training for a while, you know this. You will know how to apply these tools and make a workout more challenging, harder, more difficult. So these blanket statements like supersets are no more effective than regular sets, or rest pause is no more effective than regular sets, or pre-fatigue is, I'm here to tell you it's bullshit. It's nonsense, and we're smarter than that. Now, no tool is a requirement, but when you take these tools and you amplify the intensity of your workout, let's say you do a set of 50 rep leg extensions, rest pause, and then you rest a minute and you go over and do a very controlled 15 rep set of squats. Do you need an expert to tell you the value of that? I mean, you can figure out the value of that, right? As long as you're progressing in that realm, right? That's the key. But there are experts out there to tell you that's no better than straight sets, right? And so on one hand, you have these experts that are trying to, teach hard training. But on the other, it's hard training only my way, straight sets, don't do supersets, don't do intensity techniques. And quite honestly, I think they're full of shit. I do. And I hate to bring out the swear words on live. I hate to do that, but we're all adults. That's why I exist. We need to take a bigger picture than this, a bigger picture look than this. And before all these experts invaded, there was less confusion. We understood that hard training is hard training, and it's very nuanced, and you can have 100 different tools. And depending on how you structure these tools, you can get a lot of value out of these tools. Do you need to do them? No. Are they optional? Yes. Right? There are very few things that are mandatory. But what irks me is when you have a reasonable training system and you have these tools and people or exercises, and these experts, all these modern experts are like, you can't do this exercise, or you can't do that exercise, or you can't do this. It's no better than that. It's nonsense, guys. And you know better than that. You guys that follow along know better than that. We have common sense, right? Hard training is hard training. And if you're progressing using a system where you're training hard and the tools, you like the tools, continue to use them. Don't be bullied by these knuckleheads, right? Let's be smarter than that. Let's be adventurous. Let's try to do smart, hard, safe training in the way we want to do it. And you know what? If you want to do supersets, you want to superset dips and push-ups like a lot of my clients do, or you want to do pre-fatigue or all that kind of stuff, go ahead and use it. It's not going to matter any different. There's not going to be any difference over the long run. That doesn't mean you shouldn't use it. It might motivate you to train harder. You might enjoy that type of training. But when they say it has no value, they're completely standing in front of a tree, missing the view of the forest. And we didn't have that, before the internet. Does that make sense? We didn't have that before the internet. And there are a lot of good voices out there, but there are a lot of knuckleheads right now in the lifting industry that are positioned as experts that are telling people not to do certain exercises. The whole bench press thing, I made a video about. I got up the other day and I'm checking, my phone, and some younger trainer, and I'm not saying this is a younger trainer issue. He was just a younger trainer trying to build his brand or whatever. He popped up on Instagram and said the bench press is no good for chest development. Okay. And this is a prime example. And I made a video about it, and I got comments like, the lever angles and blah, blah, blah. And the bench press is no good for chest development. Big, hairy, ugly dude. I know, because somebody said the lever angles. And you know what? Here's your lever. Here's the only lever angle I know, right? That's the lever angle I'm going to give to that person. Why am I being so crude? Because I know for a fact, I've been training to bench press for 38 years. It gets my chest sore. I'm not setting up in a powerlifting bench I'm controlling the weight down. I don't need some knucklehead to compare lever angles and tell me the bench press is 2 degrees inferior because of the lever angles. Therefore, you should use other variations instead. No, you're missing the big picture. If you want to, number one, I know that the bench press makes my chest incredibly sore, equally to dumbbell bench, and you cannot take that away from us. I don't care how many lever angles you study, you cannot take that reality away. Number two, these people are missing the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is one lift by itself is not the magic way. In the massive iron world, and this is back to common sense, we look at the cumulative attack on a muscle group. We don't look at one lift. Like, we don't rule out bench press because of the lever angles, right? We know the bench press makes us sore, but we know we need a good battery of exercises to beat down the chest. So we're going to use bench. We're going to use maybe incline, regular dumbbell bench. You can use dips. Somebody just asked about dips. And then you can use a barrel press, machine chest press, and then you can maybe finish off that week with a lighter chest exercise like cable crossovers, rest pause style, dumbbell flies, pec deck, whatever. So, long-winded answer to your question, but there are pros and cons to everything. The bottom line is, no matter where we are in time and space, we need to use common sense. And if you have an influencer that's telling you to rule out exercises or to rule out intensity techniques, that's a red flag. That's a huge red flag. And in the back of your mind, it's a red flag. And in the back of your mind, common sense disagrees. But it's easy to get sucked into this sheeple bullshit, right? It's easy to get sucked in like, I like this influencer, but he said bench is not the best, right? Okay, let's miss the big picture, right? Let's miss the fact that bench is making your chest sore. Let's miss the fact that it's about not one exercise, but it's about the totality of your training program and how it's hitting that area. And that is what massive iron will always be about. We're going to put together a quality selection of exercises. This is one of the pillars of success in the massive iron world. And I want you guys to always remember that. When someone tries to steal you away from hard training and tries to take away exercises or intensity techniques that are reasonable, don't let them do that. Don't let them do that. No matter what lever angles they shove up your ass, no matter what mystical, magical study they pull out of their butthole. I'm sorry to be crude, but it's true. We're adults. We can talk about these things. I was thinking before bed last night that we have these experts that are like hard training, but my way. Not this exercise, even though it's reasonable and been used since the beginning of time. Not this intensity technique, my way, right? No, that's not how we're going to do it. We're fighting back. That's not how we're going to do it. We're going to do it the massive iron way, which is the big picture way, which is looking at a reasonable selection of exercises and what the history of lifting looks like. And the bench press is a staple lift, and no one can take that away from us. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. Have a good selection of exercises. That's the bigger picture. All right, Stein, happy Friday. Blaine, what size legs would you say a male has to achieve in order to have big legs? Now, J87, I want to say this, said it probably has to depend on someone's leg length. Actually, not so much. It really has to not anything to do with muscle attachments and leg lengths. There's minor variances, and I'm not being dismissive of J87, but we know that we want to provide reasonable standards. Okay. So if you're 18% and under, and 18%, basically you're not going to have any man boob fat. You're not going to have any real love handle fat. You're not going to have any really belly fat, and you're not going to have any lower back fat. When that is all gone, you're at about 18% and under for reference. So for a lifter between 12 to 18%, relatively lean, big legs, regardless of bone size. I mean, if you know what the styloid process is, that's the bone right here. And you want to measure above the styloid process. So take that number, okay, whatever that measurement is, and add 10 to 11 inch range on there. So if it's 7, 17, 18, okay, this is going to be independent of your body fat. So I'm deviating a little bit, but if you want to know where your arms could be relative to your current conditioning level, your body fat level, and you're not 40%, because things get really skewed when you're really overweight. But we go on the styloid process. That's the bone right there, okay? And you go above it and you measure, and you add about 10 to 11 inches, and that's your goal arm size at whatever body fat percentage you're at. So if it's 17 to 18 inch arms at that body fat percentage, usually it's going to be about 17. It's going to be about 10 to 10 and a half. 11 addition to that is going to be probably for guys that are a little bit bigger boned. Okay. So that's going to be where you want your big arms. That's going to be really big natural arms. Okay. Now we take that, say 17 and a half, and we're going to subtract 9. And these are my rules and my standards. They're pretty reasonable. They're just things I created to help people. So if your potential here is 17, then you want to aim for 26-inch legs. If it's 17.5, you want to aim for 26.5-inch legs. Those are big legs. And if you are under 18% and you have 17-inch arms and 26-inch legs, minimum, you're doing great. Those are big arms and big legs for a natural. Okay. So I hope that helps some. You're always going to have the larger individual creeping into the conversation. I have 19-inch arms at 18% body fat. And I mean, no disrespect. When you hear this, you know these guys probably don't have 18% body fat. And if they do, you will not see man boob fat. You will not see any belly fat. You will not see any love handle fat, and you will not see any lower back fat. If you do, they're above 18%. They could be 20, 24, 26, 28. So just understand that for reference. Oscar, good morning, Oscar. Thanks for tuning in. I've seen a few different lifters now discuss the idea that while obviously nobody wants to get injured, it represents a unique learning opportunity that most serious lifters have in their career. Do you think lifters are too afraid of injury and this anxiety, and what contributes to the technique cyborg Garbo? Look, number one, if you train hard, let's set lifting aside for a little bit. If you are practicing any sport, okay, any physical activity, I don't care what it is, bowling, dancing, running, trail running, martial arts, football, soccer, whatever you're doing, swimming, whatever, and you do it hard. Hard means not just recreationally, right? Going to do a nice little 10-minute swim after your workouts. That's recreationally. You're going to do it hard because you want to be proficient at it. You want to be good at it. Okay? If you do that for 20 years, you're going to pick up strains, pains, minor injuries, and maybe occasionally a more major injury. Now, this can be overblown a little bit. I've been training for 38 years. Sure, I've picked up strains. Sometimes I'm done on bench and I have I picked up a weird lat issue. Sometimes on squats, my hamstring the next day feels off. But these are minor strains and pains, right? I've had one major lifting injury that was a hamstring tear, and I believe the ground was uneven. in the gym I was squatting at, and it was turning me a little bit, shifting me a little bit in the hole. And I believe when I look at the footage of training in that gym, they took a warehouse that had a slanted floor, to drain, and they just put a gym in it. And none of these individuals understood that the floor was uneven and that they just put the gym on this uneven floor, the squat racks. And we didn't even think about it, right? Because we just went in and squatted. But I think that's what contributed most to my only major injury. There are people that are afraid of injuries. We see these horrific injuries. But look, if you get your form down on squats and deadlifts and RDLs, and you wear VersaGrip Pros or grip support, you're going to weed out 70% of the brutality and injuries that could have occurred. And then you're going to limit them to very minor. When you see these big guys moving this heavy, monstrous weight using all these PEDs, sometimes the muscles can get a lot stronger than the connective tissue. Let's be real. Performance enhancers are bolstering the muscle cells inherently, and then the connective tissue and joints have to play catch up, and we're pushing things to pretty amazing, super physiological levels, like just ridiculous strength levels, right? And we see some horrific injuries, and there becomes a paranoia of bicep tears and hamstring tears, and average lifters, super, super rare. In my time in coaching, I've never seen one of those. Never. Okay. I've seen injuries. I've seen a couple people need to have surgeries. So that stuff can happen. But, the bottom line is, if you feel you're going to be far worse than the person sitting on the couch, not taking care of themselves, you're wrong. They're going to develop heart disease, type 2 diabetes. They're going to feel like crap. I am going to be 57 years old this year, and I look at other people my age, and they're in a whole different plane of existence. I might have some minor battle scars, and I'm not trying to elevate myself, but I am so far ahead physically of where they are just because they don't take care of themselves. I can go rip off right now. Yesterday, I did a death day, squat and deadlifts and stiff leg deadlifts and jammer shrugs. And I feel fine this morning. I go rip off a 2-hour workout and then go do a junk day right now. And that's not because I'm a superhero. It's because I've been taking care of myself my whole life. And I certainly haven't been perfect. You guys know me. I had binge eating years and abusive weight years. But still, lifting and health and nutrition and physical activity, you're going to get minor injuries. That's part of life. But you are going to be well ahead of the person sitting on the couch. So far ahead, it's ridiculous. And if a minor injury, if you fear minor injury so much that this prevents you from living, I don't have anything for you, really. If fear prevents you from living, that's something you need to sort out with your therapist. And I'm not being short or smart, right? If fear prevents you from going out and trying to find a good partner in a relationship, you got to get that stuff sorted, because you are limiting yourself in life based on fear. You're closing doors and not keeping them open because something bad might happen, right? Oh, I got hurt once in a relationship. I'm going to be all guarded and I'm never going to let that happen again. Right? Well, I got hurt once. I got a boo-boo while lifting. I'm going to be guarded and never let that happen again because I was so sad that day. I just thought I could get up for the rest of my life, lift, and never get a boo-boo, physical or mental, right? Never have a boo-boo day, right? Come on, you're living in a fantasy world. And I mean it in the best possible way. You guys, like, someone hurts you in a relationship, someone cheats on you, stomps on you, treats you like crap, or in the gym, an exercise hurts you, stomps on you, you get a strain pain or whatever. Don't let that stop you. You're closing doors. You know, it's going to happen. It's part of the process. Accept it as part of the process. Just because one exercise, and I'm not sure how we got on the relationships, but it's a good parallel point of discussion. Mentally or physically, if you get hurt, understand it's part of the process. How many people do you know, like, I got hurt in a relationship? Yeah, it hurts. It's painful, right? It's definitely painful. We're not making fun of the pain. Recovery is part of the process, and we're going to recover from it normally and in a healthy manner, just like lifting. You're going to get hurt, and then you're going to recover, and you're going to get back at it, and it's a long journey. So people that debilitate themselves because of fear, they stop living, they close doors, they're narrow-minded. And I think if you ask any therapist, I'm certainly not a therapist, the therapist or anybody would say, look, get your shit together and move on. If you're going to limit yourself by one injury, you just lock yourself indoors and stop living the rest of your life. Big Joe B, what's going on? Hamad, Steve, hope all good on that side of the pond. Thank you. I have so many clients in the UK. I just want to let you know, people, I have 50% of my client base is not in the United States. Canada, Mexico, Australia, UK, Ireland, Scotland, Sweden, all over the world. I took on a client today, this week in Thailand, all over the world. And it's such a huge blessing in my life to be able to meet people from all over the world. Saudi Arabia, South Africa, the Middle East, all over the Middle East, Romania, Bulgaria, a few areas, a few other areas, right? But seriously, though, it's been a huge blessing. We can sit sometimes in our own little world and we hear things on the news about other people or other places, but actually getting to work with folks is a blessing, a huge blessing. Clients in India, clients in Israel, just right now. What compounds would you recommend for the rep goal? Anything, really, because we're practicing safe sets, right? We're practicing safe quality sets. So whatever exercises you like, you can do the rep goal on. It doesn't really matter. You can do the rep goal on. But whatever you do, just practice safe quality sets. When would someone stop using it? Well, here's the beautiful thing about training. Let's say you start with bench press and you're doing the rep goal system. And for those of you guys unfamiliar with the rep goal system, head over to my website, Super Living Today. I'm not trying to do a commercial, but I want to help people. Check my book, search my book, Massive Iron. There's a book tab. The rep goal system was a huge part of my book, and you can get an actual physical copy of the book, or you can get a PDF copy. Anyway, the rep goal system, basically you maximize every set. And hold on, let me just find this question here. You maximize every set, and then you count up the reps for all the sets. So let's say you're using the same. Let's say you're using the same weight for bench, 185, and you do 12, 9, and 7. 12, 9, 7 would be 28 total reps. You might have set a rep goal of 25, and if you hit that, then you move up 5 pounds. How long can you run that? As long as you want. It's not something that I'm going to run it, and how long can I run it? And then I'm going to give you a time, and then you run it for. One of the pillars of success in the massive iron world is evolving training based on needs. So you use a tool as long as you like using the tool, right? And then if you find at some point Mentally, I'm over pushing every squat set for maximum safe reps. I'm only going to push 2 or maybe only going to push 1. That's fine. As long as you're pushing at least 1 set per exercise for maximum safe quality reps, you're fine. And you can evolve that at any time. Should we see what I look like bald in all this light? Oh, yeah. Okay. Your experiences with weighted calisthenics, dips and pull-ups. Well, carryover, we take a big picture view in the massive iron world. We take a big picture view. Strength builds strength. Strength breeds strength. So in unity, when we attack every muscle group in the body with a variety of quality exercises, that's going to create an overall strength. Can we quantify that? No. Can we say how much our dips and pull-ups going to add to bench and deadlift? No, we can't do that. But strength builds strength. Strength breeds strength. Whatever grouping of exercises you have for a specific muscle group, when you are attacking those exercises, you are building strength. And let me give you a really good example, okay? Let's talk about dumbbell rows. Let's talk about Pendley rows. Specifically, we all know what a Pendley row is, but let's talk about the way I do dumbbell rows. It honestly triggers some people. I start at a dead stop and I drive my elbow back. People assume I can't feel the back and I'm cheating. I assure you, after 38 years, I can feel the upper back and lats work on a crazy, crazy level. Whether I'm doing 250-pound dumbbell rows or whatever, I can feel that working, and I'm so hyper-focused on driving the elbow and the shoulder back when I'm rowing. I assure you I can feel it. But it still triggers some people. So let's say the people that are triggered by the way I do dumbbell rows are right. Let's say they're right. Let's say they are cheating. Let's say I was an idiot and couldn't feel my back, and we're going to do this for the sake of discussion. If you never focus on your upper back feel on Pendley rows and dumbbell rows, and I'm sorry to point at you, like Clint Eastwood sitting on those, get off my lawn. If you never, and think about this, if you never focused on your upper back feel when you're dumbbell rowing or Pendley rowing, and you got your Pendley row to 405 by 5, and your single arm dumbbell row to 225 by 20, these are all numbers I've done, okay? Never, just hypothetically, you never worried about feeling, you just use power, reckless abandon, right, as they say in the pro wrestling world. You just got to Herculean, God-tiered strength levels, 405 by 5 on the Pendley row, 225 by 20 on the single arm dumbbell row, and I'm going somewhere important here, so hang tight. Where do you think your deadlift's going to be? Where do you think your deadlift is going to be? If you can Pendley row 405 by 5, and you can single arm dumbbell row 225 by 20, where do you think your deadlift is going to be? I will nearly guarantee, I would almost guarantee that if you reach those levels, you are going to be deadlifting at least 600 pounds. Are we trying to create a rule? If you Pendley row this, if you dumbbell row this, then you can deadlift this? No. But strength builds strength. Strength breeds strength. So if you are one strong ass son of a bitch in your overhead presses, I know you're going to have a big bench press. Is it because of necessarily carryover? No, but strength builds strength. Strength breeds strength. In the massive iron world, we are obsessed with building as much strength from head to toe as humanly possible in the lane of control and smart training and hard training. If you do that, if you trust the process, the philosophies that I teach, you are going to, over time, have an amazing bench press, an amazing squat, an amazing deadlift, an amazing everything. Is it going to necessarily be top tier powerlifting strong? No, then you can start to specialize, use lower rep work. Does that make sense? So always take the view that you're going to do the exercises you like to do. And if you get really strong on pull-ups, like you can do 3 sets of 10 with 90 pounds, full extension, or dips, 3 sets of 10, full extension, good control. That's going to help your tricep development. That's going to help your back development. That's going to help you everywhere in the gym. And all the pieces of the puzzle are going to put together a beautiful picture. So there's always carryover. And we don't try to create formulas like building a big dip equals building a big bench. What we try to do is build everything as big and as strong as humanly possible. And that builds a machine that is as big and as strong as humanly possible. All right, advice for someone training during Ramadan. No food or drink. Okay, I get this question a lot. I think I have at least 5 clients right now that are about to go through Ramadan. I forget the day it starts, so I'm not trying to be dumb here or ignorant. But most times I don't even know what day it is. Right? I'm old. So you want to probably get in some water and sodium in the morning and maybe some simple or complex carbs. Not a lot, okay? Before sunrise, if you can. So sodium is a vital energy electrolyte, and you want to get some of that in your system first thing in the morning. So if you're up before sunrise, you want to get in some water with sodium. That's only going to be beneficial. And if you can get in some real simple or even complex carbs, that could be in the form of grapes or bananas, any fruit or veggie or rice or oatmeal or anything with simpler complex carbs, that would be beneficial. We're not going to worry about protein during that time. If the opportunity is there, then take it. Now, sunset. First thing you want to do is water and salt and a simple carb. Okay, and I'm not sure when you're going to lift, but you want to do at least water, salt, and a simple carb. We want to get some glycogen in the system. We want to get some sodium and electrolytes in the system. If you could have a fruit with potassium, and if you don't know what fruits have potassium, just search fruits that have potassium. So if you could get in some sodium, some simple fruits with potassium, and we don't want to overload the body because you're going to go into training, right? Probably within an hour or 30 minutes. So that's what you want: water, sodium, some potassium, some plant-based source that has potassium, and maybe a little bit of complex carbs if you aren't going to lift for a couple hours, hour and a half, couple hours after sunset. Does that make sense? McBean, Scottish Fitness. Good morning, and thank God it's Friday and second bench day. Only 15 days away from UPA Nationals in Iowa. That is the meet, my favorite meet. Get some video, man. I used to live in Wisconsin. I've coached at that meet a few times, competed at that meet a few times. That's a wonderful meet. I love that meet. It's a world-class meet. So I'm not sure if it's your first time. Dumbbells and donuts, not to be confused with boogers and beignets. You recommended me excuse my humor, your massive mass program for my bulk following my layoff. It looks great. Can you talk through the concept of the program and elaborate on why it's a good fit? Well, massive mass is basically allows for some exercise variety because you're doing 2 sets per exercise, and you really get to focus on pushing sets hard, right? Like when we get into 3-set territory, there's nothing wrong with it. But massive mass allows you to do 2 sets per an exercise, really hone in your focus, and get in a variety exercise. So it's, I find it's an interesting way to train. It's a nice change of pace. If you guys are tired of 3 sets per exercise, or maximizing 3 sets becomes a little bit tedious, you can try 2 sets and maximizing the 2 sets, or maximizing the 1 of 2. Just a wonderful way to train. A lot of good focus. I just started a dedicated cut for the first time in my life and had a question on mentality. My plan is to focus on consistently staying within my daily calories. I won't care much about my training in the sense that I'll take the easy plus ones. On a cut, right, you take the easy plus ones, but you don't over push. You don't become obsessed if you feel weak, because we're in the lane of a cut. We want to focus on the cut. We want to get out of the cut, and then we want to get back to bulking, which I assume will happen probably mostly on presses. I simply won't care. What's currently more important is my diet. Conversely, once I start bulking, I'll care more about. Okay. Too much within reason. Long question, I know, but what are your thoughts? You're right on track. Mentally, where a lot of people disconnect is when they go on a cut. They worry too much about strength. Oh, I'm going to lose all this muscle. I'm going to lose all the strength. That's a fairy tale. You're going to have less glycogen in your muscles, less energy. You're probably going to feel a little bit weaker to a degree. You're going to, you might feel a little bit weaker temporarily on your presses. And a lot of these influencers will play into that fear and like, I'll show you how not to lose any strength on a cut. Well, you can maximize meal timing to help your workouts a little bit. You can. But there's no magic way to like not feel weak and not lose a few reps on a cut. A cut is going to do what a cut does, right? And like if you lose 2 reps on bench press on a 3-week cut, who cares? They're going to come back when you're done. You're not going to lose muscle mass really on a cut. That's an overblown fear. Even if you did lose a little bit, the body is not that fragile. You have muscle memory in your corner. And when you leave the cut, it's just going to come right back. So focus on the cut, get the cut over with. Somewhat related, but is the main difference between a mini cut and a regular cut just that a mini cut is shorter? I mean, I hate to create arbitrary definitions, but I would call a mini cut anything from like 6 to 10 pounds. Okay. So we go in, we do a bulk. We have a bulking phase, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months. And then we're going to, you could gain 8, 10, 12, 15 pounds, depending on the length of the bulk, from 4 to 8 months. And then maybe you only want to lose 6, 8, 10 pounds. That would be a mini cut. Okay. Get in, get it over with. Now, there are some guys that bulk longer. They might bulk a year, 10 months, and maybe they gain 20 pounds in 10 months. When you get over like 10 pounds, I would call that a regular cut. You're going to dig in for at least a couple months. That's a cut, and that becomes a little bit tedious. That's what we want to try to avoid in the muscle building world. It's far more enjoyable to stare down the barrel of a 3 or 4 week cut than it is to go, oh man, I got to cut 2 or 3 months. That's hard to string together. Big Billy Baker rolling 300 in the bowling alley like a champ. How do I know this stuff? Hashtag teammassiveIron.com. A happy Freitag. Hoping to see Inter Miami shirt today. Jonathan, that's for you from FC Cincinnati. Messi can go figuratively take a big leap. No questions, all our answer in Team Massive. Come join us. TeamMassiveIron.com. Big Joe B. In your opinion, how much potential tricep mass am I missing out on by doing you're not. You're overthinking this stuff. Don't overthink. Joe, I love you, but you're a classic overthinker. You do put together a lot of overthinking questions, and I'm slowly trying to pull you from that. You're not missing out on anything, because over the course of a 10-month or 10-year lifting career, there's going to be ebbs and flows. Everybody has them. If you don't, you're a fluke. So you're not missing out. Just work hard. Focus on hard training. By the way, for those of you guys not living in 2024, BTW means by the way. That was humor. It definitely feels challenging from a complete stop to restart them off the ground. Yeah, and just focus on hard training, whatever exercises you do, guys. Shelly from Team Massive, good morning. And live starts now. Now I'm going to get a drink. And I'm cheating a little bit today with a Monster Purple. We're about 51 minutes in. I'm going to give away something here for free. And then we're going to continue on. If you're watching, please post up a question. I'd love to help. Let me know what you think of the new Fancy Boy camera setup. Let me know what you think of the Fancy Boy camera setup and the lighting. We took a step forward after 13 years. Let me know what you guys think. Who cares? Who cares? It's all about the information. Let's lift. So, I'm going to give you something free. Email me, benthebarman@gmail.com. Hit me up on Instagram @benthebarman. I'll give you something for free. Carl, how's it going, Carl? Hello with 3 O's and 2 L's. Smashing my overhead press be enough for side Delcro? No. You don't have to do lateral raises, but you want to do a dumbbell variation, a barbell variation, and a machine variation if you can. Try bulldozer laterals, my variation. And maybe high pulls if you want. Carlton, good morning from the road. Good morning, Carlton. Ernie said it looks good. I was a little bit afraid if I crawled out of the dark. Skinner said the new camera is too high quality. It looks uncanny. You look too realistic. I was afraid if I actually used a real camera. Like, it was quite the journey. I bought this Canon EOS M50 2 years ago. I'm like, I'm going to use it. And then trying to figure out lighting. Trying to figure out where to set the camera. It's quite the adventure. Especially when I have this big monitor right here and I had to set the camera above. Drew, sound and video quality is good for me. Great. Don Yal went from 315 to 365 on bench in a year. Thanks to your 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 5, 10, 10, 20. That's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that. The 5, 10, 10, 20, if you have not tried that bench protocol, that more than any bench protocol I've ever created creates ridiculous progress. It really trains endurance. It really trains the central nervous system. If you haven't tried it, try it for a season. I'm not saying it's magic, but I'm saying you're very likely to get a bump to your bench press. And if you don't know what that is, go to my website, superlivingtoday.com. Search bench course. Search bench course. You can find the PDF. There's a PDF that has over 60 pages of all these different amazing bench press workouts. With that said, it's on this channel somewhere, so you can search 5, 10, 10, 20 or bench program. You'll be able to find it for free. Carl, weird question. But why is the bar speed on RDLs often the same first and last rep? Bar speed, first off on an RDL, we're focusing on moving our glutes back to lower the weight. We're not trying to squat or just lower the weight. So we're very controlled and we're loading our hamstrings. We're getting in that stretch reflex, okay? In that, if you can get safely down in that stretch reflex position, then the concentric, because lowering is the eccentric, then the concentric is going to be pretty reasonably fast. It's going to be reasonably consistent. If you start to get to the point where you're lowering during an RDL and you can't keep lower back tightness, then it's time to get out of that set. Big Macaroni. What happened to Alex Leonidas? He's been missing for 13 days. I don't know. Did he go to, was he at the Arnold? I saw a lot of Arnold stuff. I saw a lot of Arnold stuff come by my social media feed, but I did not see if he was there. Thoughts on aggressive cuts losing 1% of body weight a week? 1% if you're 150 is in 1.5 pounds. That's not aggressive. And I'm not being argumentative. I'm just saying this for reference. 1% of 200 pounds is 2 a week. That's not aggressive. If you're 250, it's 2.5 pounds a week. That's not aggressive. So regardless of your body weight, if you're not losing more than 2 pounds a week, it's not aggressive. Aggressive is 2.5, 3 pounds a week, or maybe even a little bit more. I can go up to 3.5 when I really nail a week. Lifter XXX. What do you think about Prime RO T8 handles? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not trying to be crude. Maybe somebody can educate me. I don't know if that's a sex toy, a child's toy, a push-up handle, handles to help you get off the toilet, some kind of military weapon, some kind of military-grade uranium handler. I don't have a clue what it is. Maybe somebody can fill me in. How many push-ups and pull-ups can you do? Push-ups, I can do anywhere from 15 to 25 on my first set, and then I degrade a little bit. Usually my third set's about 10 to 15. I have quite a few videos on YouTube. I think, well, I know I have quite a few on push-ups on Instagram. I assume I have some on YouTube. I have a video on how to do the push back. So let me see what I can dig up. But I've done quite a few videos over the years on push-ups. And I'm not going to dig it up now. And Facebook's usually the easiest place for me to find. But right now, I'm not doing push-ups currently with my current program. Number one, just taking a break from them. I've done them for so long, no reason. I think I trained push-ups I really started to add them into my workout when I was at the Power Station Gym in Ohio, like 8-9 years ago. I would do bench, I would do guillotine bench, I would do dumbbell bench. No, I'd do push-ups and I would do dumbbell bench. So I'd hop off the bench and I would do some push-ups. And there was always variance in push-ups for me, body weight wise, 18 to 25 on the first set. And then the second set would usually be like 15 to 22, and the third set would be like 10 to 18. But I did those probably for 5 straight years on my pressing days. Not for any magical reason, but I just wanted to maintain a reasonable degree of push-up strength. Pull-ups, I can't do more than 4 to 5. I haven't done those on a weekly basis since 1999. It's just the way it is. Even at my lightest weight at 238 after my cut, I suck to do more than 5. Raphael, thank you, sir. Thank you for bringing common sense into the conversation. Thank you. Big Paul, doing an aggressive cut right now, teammassiveiron.com. I just found lateral raises and reverse pec deck a waste of time without doing compounds first. Yeah, that's fine. I like to work my way down the food chain. I don't really find pre-fatigue to be wonderful for the big lifts. Sometimes what I used to do, I would do like box jumps and then run right over and do leg extensions. Or I would do leg extensions and then alternating lunges. I found value in kind of things like that, if that makes sense. Alan, dips versus bench, yes. In the massive iron world, repeat after me. When it's an either or question, the answer is always both. Because if you want a big chest, it's not one exercise, it's all the exercises that we put together. Barbell Beauty from TeamMassiveIron.com. I went to the moon. 4 days stomach sick, poopy pants. How would you approach the comeback? Number one, when you feel better, assume that you're not better and take a day where you carb load, sodium load, water load, and food load. Okay? Let's normalize our body weight a little bit because you were poo-pooing. You're probably low on electrolytes, water, carbs. So have a day where you kind of are bloat lord. And then the next day I would come back, listen to your body during warm-ups if you need to drop things 10%. All right. And what do you think of what's happening in Gaza? I don't do politics, religion. Lifting channel, and I appreciate it. I'll do off-topic questions, but I won't do politics and religion. This is a lifting channel, and this is our escape from politics and religion. Here, we all get to gather from around the world, different religions, different cultures, different countries, different locations. I do not care what your country is doing. I do not care what your culture is, and I don't mean that in a negative way. But here we are an army, a community of lifters seeking the same things. We respect each other, and that is all that matters to me. Stian, hello from Norway. Hello from Norway. Are my glutes supposed to be hard and active during the entire remaining deadlift? Well, we don't focus on that. We focus on pushing the glutes back to lower the weight. Okay. You want to brace your core, and you want to focus on driving the glutes back. Does that make sense? I find my butt kind of turned off. Just focus on driving it back, my friend, and getting some loading from the hamstrings. Victor, how's it going? Victor, 3 thumbs up from Victor. TK, I'm training for a strongman comp where one of my events is max distance 20-pound sandbag throws. Wow, throws. Limited to max 360-degree rotation. Curious to hear the technique what you would use. I don't know. I know that the further away from your body the sandbag is when you're in rotation, you're going to create a greater distance and maybe a greater opportunity for acceleration. Correct me if I'm wrong from a physics standpoint. If you hold it towards your body and throw it, you're not getting as much acceleration, generated centrifugal force or generated G's. Like if something's on a lever, on an arm, and you rotate, it, like this is right here, this point, it's going to rotate slowly. Right here, it's going to rotate a greater distance, even though it's rotating at the same speed. So from a physics standpoint, I would assume the further away from your body, the further you'll be able to throw it. Now, some of that's going to have to do with grip strength and how you can grip this thing, but I would keep it as far away from the body as you can. Just try to accelerate through the end and then throw. You don't have to start fast, but you want to accelerate and make sure your acceleration is peaking when you throw. Does that make sense? That's just in my brain how I'm processing that. Now, I'm no expert at hammer throws or shot put or all this kind of stuff, but mentally from a physics standpoint, that's how I would process it. Big Scott Boyd, thoughts on lifting and walking 10K steps on the same day? 100%. 10K is great for health. 8K, 7K is kind of my minimum. It's not going to impact anything. In fact, I want to see everybody get at least 7 to 8K. What do you think about the SSB Hatfield squat? So you put the SSB here and you're holding in the thing. Yeah, if you like it, go right ahead. It's a wonderful lift as long as it feels natural for you. Good to go. Big Chef, lever angel. I think I messed it up 100 times earlier in the video. Big Ernie Peterson. Love those bulldozer rows. Yes, sir. So do I. Stan, I love the way you do dumbbell rows. T&D Knickers. Thank you for the donation. Is hypertrophy or strength focus better while losing lots of weight? You're going to use the same thing. You certainly never want to train above 85% of your 1 rep max while trying to lose weight, because you're gonna be using a heavy weight and your glycogen's low, your energy's low. It's just increasing injury risk. It's a bad idea. So you want to use a reasonable rep range, and that's going to be what rep range you use is going to be dependent on the exercise. You do 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, whatever. But you want to stay in that lane and try to progress in that lane. Thoughts on decline bench? Also, my band is playing a gig in Leicester. Is that how you say it? Leicester? I'm not from the UK, so we would say in America, Leicester tonight. And we sample you in 2.5 hour songs if you like when our album is finished. Yeah, hey, that'd be an honor, man. I'd like to hear that. So that would be awesome. Decline's fine. I find it to be a little bit more leverage friendly, control friendly. I wouldn't use it as my primary. I wouldn't use it as my primary bench, but I definitely you can definitely have it in the mix. Sorry, I'm late. Excuse me. Didn't get my alarm notification. That's okay. Remind me next week, and I'll make sure to have my wife call you, or not. In the massive iron world, we are obsessed with no fat. No, we're not. In the massive iron world, we are obsessed with proper amounts of healthy sex. Rafael de Souza. Please help me understand what is the difference between doing 3 sets of 10, 30 reps versus a rep goal system and having a goal. Well, it depends on how you approach it. The rep goal, each set is pushed for maximum safe quality reps. So the rep goal system, you are pushing each set to the limit safely, okay? You can try to get 3 sets. Let's say you're using 185 on the bench as an example, and you're using the rep goal system. You would do all 3 sets for maximum safe quality reps. Let's say you're doing 185 and you want to get to 3 sets of 10. The difference is when you get the first set to 10, you stop pushing it on subsequent workouts. And then you start trying to push the last 2 sets until you get 10. And then you might have 10, 10, 8. And then you might try to push the last set to 10. So they're just different ways of getting to a rep goal. That's actually an interesting approach, because I've never thought of doing that. Because you would start by doing max safe reps, and then when you hit a 10, you'd just be pushing the second set, when you're pushing the third. That would be a longer progression approach, because you're going to get to 10 on the first one, and you might be able to do, if you're able to do eventually 3 sets of 10, you should be able to do the first set for 14 or 15. So it's going to be a longer form progression approach, if that makes sense. Daniel White Jr. I appreciate your information videos. Thank you. I struggle with my squats due to incorrect form. Do you have any other leg exercise suggestions to strengthen my quads? So leg press, where you're going deep as comfortable. Hack squats, where you're going as deep as comfortable. Pendulum squats or leverage squats, belt squats, lunges, Bulgarian split squats. All those are wonderful exercises. Any ones that fit into your world are a good call. Ernie said, camera looks great, and Joe B, camera looks fantastic. Thank you. Guys, we're an hour and 10 minutes in. We have about 10 questions left. I'd like to do a last call now, because this might take me a half an hour to get through these 10 questions, but post up your questions now. I don't want anybody to miss out. If you're new here, don't be shy. I'd love to help. Even if you guys don't have a question but want me to speak on a specific topic, go right ahead. Off topic, I love space. Have any of you guys seen the new Spaceman movie on Netflix with Adam Sandler? I watched a half an hour one night, a half an hour another. I don't mind it, but I've turned it off both times because I just seem to be losing interest. Like it's a lot of relationship stuff and talking to a spider in space. I don't know. I just can't finish it, which is a shame. Big Chris Jackson, 7 days complete in a 30-day challenge. Getting through the morning without eating everything in sight is the hardest part. It's different for everybody, right? I like to fight during the day and then eat more after my workouts. I don't know what you'd call that, but it's a thing. I think we can do all kinds of, there are a custom set of emojis in here. I don't know if you guys can see this on, I don't know if you guys can see that. No, it's just there's a Tyrone, the fitness addict, a bacon emoji, Vince 1 and Vince 2. I don't think you guys can see that. Where was I at? Where was we at? Let me find it. I got distracted. You have new camera. Now will you send a DDD dick pics to us? No. Nobody is getting a dick pic. I don't care how much money you have. Why can't I get these emojis? No, I don't want to see your dick either, if you just being honest. Alan Wolf, are Viking presses good for shoulders as barbell presses? Yeah, I mean, I have clients that are doing Viking presses, they're a good variation. We want to focus on, good quality variation of exercises, and that's certainly a quality one to have in your rotation. What is your cheese tier list? Well, just every day, I stick with Gouda, Asiago. There is a bourbon cheese. Let me see if I can find it that I get at Kroger. That is my top. I search cheese and it comes up with cheesecake. Where is it? I'm trying to find. Is it Bellaventano? I forgot the name of it. It's just I'll find it if I can find it. If I can't find it, I won't find it. I'll see if I can find it. But there's a bourbon cheese that I get at Kroger that I absolutely love. Have you ever tried to eat a very large meal before squatting? I bet it would, because that food's not going to digest. It's just not going to digest. And it's going to sit in your stomach. When you are lifting, the blood has to go to the muscles or it has to go to your stomach. And if you're going to lift, it's probably going to go to the muscles. That food's going to sit in your stomach, and you're either going to get the Ray shit skis, or you're going to puke, or you're going to feel absolutely awful. Kevin C.A. Thoughts on going to failure on every set and adding plus ones? I'm starting to feel a bit weaker. You use something on it. We have to be lift by lift specific. So you use something on each lift. And then when it doesn't work for you on that lift, just try a different progression approach. Trend on YouTube are back that cardio burns muscle. Look, I'm going to be honest. If you follow any channel that teaches that, you need to unfollow them because they're idiots. The body is not that fragile. That's a main point we teach in the Massive Iron world. The body is not that fragile. And if you have an idiot that teaches that, you need to unfollow them. And you can tell them they're an idiot. I don't mind. If they're going to come over here and say, you said I'm an idiot before saying that cardio burns muscle, I'm going to say, yeah, you are an idiot. You are an idiot. Making an idiot statement. As Stephen Bush said, what's your band's name? Leicester is pronounced Leicester. Leicester. Okay, Leicester. Also, Worcestershire is pronounced Worcestershire. Worcestershire. Okay. That helps me a lot. Do you like working out in a cold room, hot room? I like it a little bit on the cool side. I don't like to be warm at all. I feel a little bit worn down. When using VersaGrips, is it best to put the flap over or under? Definitely under the bar, so you can grip like this way. I thought I had them at my desk, but I don't. You don't put them over. You can't grip that way. Any advice? All right, guys, 3 questions left, so we're going to be hopping off unless you have any more. Post your questions now. Any advice on encouraging sedentary people to get their bodies moving? Look, I get this a lot about relatives, friends, girlfriends, boyfriends. If someone's not motivated to move, they're not motivated to move. If they don't care for health, they don't care for health. It's like advice on trying to get someone to floss their tooth or brush their tooth, right? Or you can't get anybody to take care of themselves. If they're not motivated, they're not motivated. You know, a lot of people just they want to do a magic quick month-long fix, a cabbage soup diet, eating only watermelon, right? Some magic short-term diet, and then they want to get back to normal eating. Some people just don't want to move. Some people just don't want to eat right. Those people don't want to take care of themselves. Do I have any advice for them? No. I'm here to help the people that do. If somebody doesn't see the value in taking care of themselves, I don't have much for them. There's nothing I can do to motivate them. Thanks for explaining now. It makes sense. Spaceman movie was terrible. It's one of those movies where I wanted to love it, and I'm 2/3 of the way in, and I want to finish it. But I find myself not giving a rip about their relationship and the whole relationship thing, and I don't really care. I don't know where it's going. I don't really care. Right? There are some aspects I enjoyed, like the floaty purple stuff in space. That's where I found my brain cared more than anything else. All right, last question, guys. Last chance. Oh, we just got another one. Thanks, big guy. I'm going to change my routine up a bit. Thanks for your help with my weight loss journey. I'm at a point where it's gone from basic motivation to discipline and habit. That's a good place to be. When you can get in that groove where on weight loss, it's gone from starting with motivation to just nailing it as a habit, like it feels very routine and sustainable, you're at a very good place. So hang tough. Don't go yet. We're going to wait around and see if there is any more questions yet. We got some stuff coming in. Before I move on to the final questions, and post your questions up now, guys, just a reminder, you can head over to my website, superlivingtoday.com. Check out the workouts tab. Check out the workouts collection. That has over 360 pages of workouts. I have a course tab over there with a bench press course and a power muscle block course. I have some new workouts, death day workouts. I have massive strongman up there, which I'm going to be releasing officially tomorrow if I can, so on and so forth. If you need coaching, if you've never worked with a coach before, if you have questions about it, just check out the coaching tab. And please check out teammassiveiron.com. It's only a minimal fee per month. We just have a gatekeeping fee to keep out the riffraff. Most underrated foods from each macronutrient, in your opinion. So I would say the most underrated, and this can be, I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. This is just my personal opinion. But I think the most underrated protein food would be Greek yogurt, either plain or, one of the fruity flavors, because it has so much protein. It's so flexible. You can use regular Greek yogurt and turn it into a sauce, mix it with a sauce. You can mix it and really put it on top of any food for extra protein. You can use a fruit-flavored Greek yogurt with fruit. It's just so flexible. Low calories, tastes great, great application in so many different ways. So Fats. I would say fats are a tough one. I think because a lot of people that are trying to add calories tend to not eat enough of the good quality fats. Butter and heavy cream are very rich in phytochemicals and nutrients. Very underrated. We don't want to overdo it because we can really slop on a lot of calories, but getting in a little bit of butter or heavy cream is a good way to get in nutrients and phytochemicals. If you have a protein shake and you're bulking, you can add an ounce of heavy cream, get into that quality nutrition, and it'll amplify the taste of that protein shake immensely. Things like avocado, things like cheese, again, rich in nutrients. Sour cream is really good when we're talking fatty foods. Those would be my fatty foods. Carbotrons, I don't know. I would say probably taters. Taters are just good nutrient-dense foods, good food volume foods, and they're so flexible. They can be eaten in so many number of healthy ways as a comfort food. I think taters, like the bodybuilding community can be obsessed with rice. But in my opinion, taters win. I like rice, but I'm a tater guy. Tater. Stephen Bush. Happy Judas Priest Day, by the way, for those of you that are listening to the new Priest album. Anthony, Cali Muscle enters the chat. I love watermelon, man. I eat 2 cups of watermelon a day. I just love the food volume. I love the flavor, but I don't have a clue what happened with Cali. No more questions, but huge thanks again for what you do. Thank you. And for us at Team Massive. If you haven't already joined, but you're watching, you're missing out. Team Massive isn't just, I don't want it to be like a place where it's me and a community. I want it to be a community where I'm at as well. So if you want a good escape, please check out Team Massive Iron. For those of you guys on teammassiveiron.com that don't contribute much, I just want to encourage you to get involved, man. A healthy community needs a lot of voices. Share questions, share comments, encouragement. Big Macaroni. Cali Muscle with no muscle. He is crazy now. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if he's just crazy, fooling us. I don't even know. Arud, how do you know if you're big boned? Well, if you're I'm just speaking off the top of my head. So I'm not trying to make rules here. Everybody's different. If you're at 18% and under body fat percentage, okay, here's the styloid process, that little bone, and we're going to measure above it. If you're at 18% and under, and you measure under 7 inches, you're probably on a smaller bone scale. I was at about 6.3 when I was 155 pounds. 6.3, 6.2 is probably on the real smaller boned end, up to 6.7. I don't know, around 7 would be regular boned, around 8 would be 7.758 would be bigger boned, lean. Cali Muscle is saying he is not on TRT and that he is natural now. He's lying again. I don't know. You know what? I just want to talk about lifting. And I don't mean like, I'm not saying I don't appreciate the Cali Muscle questions at all. I do. I love the off-topic questions and keep them coming. But these people in the lifting community that talk about everything but lifting, right? Drugs, watermelon, shenanigans. Like, imagine what they could do if they just talked about lifting. Team Massive, it's a place where all lifters can take a sauna together. I hope not. I haven't seen that occur yet. All right, guys, that's it. We're about an hour and a half in. Thank you guys for watching Massive Iron Live. Reminder, I'm here every Friday. Next weekend, bring your questions. Load up your bag of questions. I'm here to help. If you are late to the party, please head over to Instagram, @BenTheBarman, @BenTheBarman. Slide into my DM. I would love to help. if you need coaching, I'd love to help as well. Keep an eye out for my training app. I've been working on that for almost a year, and that's almost ready for alpha and beta. And I got a new book coming out. I've been working on it. That's going to be a few months out, but keep your eye open for that. All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. And we are out of here.
It's not almost over. It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.